City, New Hampshire accent sounds like. I do know that everyone who wasn't the Ittani family sounded like Mark Wahlberg's aunts. Everybody had the most egregious Southie Boston accent.
Strong Boston
admittedly,
accents. Here, let's play a little bit of them.
Well, sure. Here's an example of, for instance, Lincoln, who I think none of us...
God, I fucking hated
probably
Lincoln.
Fine actor, but I think none of us enjoyed this performance. So here we go. Here's the deeply nuanced and subtle character that is Lincoln, as he and Simon Ittani's son drive off to go to what is supposed to be I believe they're checking out a college, but they're really going to be in the woods in Canada with a couple girls. So here you go.
Are you sure they have cell service at this campsite?
Settle down, guy.
If I don't check in, my parents are going to call McGill.
Have I ever steered you wrong?
Yeah, consistently, since the 3rd grade.
Yeah, and I don't want you to forget that, asshole, because we are getting laid this weekend.
You brought 2 tents, right?
Yeah, Jade and I get the big one. You and Carrie get the little one.
Whatever. As long as I'm not in yours. Now my GPS isn't working yet. This is so annoying.
GPS, listen to you. Look at it. Jericho Mountain State Park, next exit.
You're right. I don't even know street signs anymore.
Jesus Christ. See, this is the problem with technology. It's rotting our brains.
Jesus, dude, you sound like my dad.
Whatever. It's gonna be nice to have a weekend off the grid for once.
Dude, are you drinking a beer right now? It's 9 a.m.
Oh, shut up.
So as you can hear there, he's just a typical teenager doing things teenagers do. 1, having the most egregious Southie accent you've ever heard. B, cracking open at 9 a.m. a beer while driving, because millennials do that. C, saying to his friend, it's going to be so good to be off the grid. See, all that technology is rotting your mind. Something literally no teenager in America has ever said to another teenager.
It doesn't even make sense.
No. But it is clumsy writing that is setting up what's going to happen later, which is his immediate heel turn, even though he already sounds like a heel. He sounds like a horrible person.
When his dad is awful, and they try to make that as sort of the...
Oh, wait, you mean... So these 2 kids have known each other, according to them, since the 3rd grade?
Right.
So we're talking, these kids have known each other for over close to
almost
a decade.
All their life.
Almost all their lives. Yet, during the blackout, one day in, when the children are missing... Simon Ittani's mother, Carla Ittani, the actress who plays it, by the way, played by an actress named Chloe Brooks, approaches Lincoln's father, and this is the exchange. They're at a town hall. This is the exchange that takes place.
Excuse me, sorry. Hi, Rick. Rick, hi.
What?
Have you heard any news from the boys?
Don't worry, I changed their diapers before they left.
Ow. Hey there, Rick.
It's just, I'm sure you understand my concern. They might not realize what's happening here. If they've tried to call, they haven't been able to get through. And
Whoa there, little lady. You're starting to make my head hurt.
Excuse me?
The only concern of Lincoln's is playing hockey and chasing tails.
Wow, okay, yeah, that's very, very interesting.
And my only concern is keeping the generators running at Northern Correctional so the 654 convicted felons I'm responsible for don't walk out the front gate. So forgive me, sweetie pie, if I don't got time to babysit your fucking kid.
Listen, asshole, you have been...
Okay, it was nice seeing you, Rick. I'm sure the boys are fine. Good luck with your criminals.
So again, some more very subtle, 3-dimensional character building of this belligerent drunk who speaks to her like he barely knows her.
Yeah,
even though
it's
their
insane.
children have known each other, we're told most of their lives.
And in a town of 10,000 people.
Right.
And I feel like this is a proof that it's a writer who maybe had a good or interesting idea that worked well in an outline. And
that
then
writer would be Scott Conroy. He's the writer-creator here.
And I was looking up at his history, and most of it's political stuff. And this is a very political podcast story, I think. And a narrative that's kind of deals with the politics of America today. Because it ends up being a kind of a red versus blue.
A cabal, kind of. It ends up being certainly there's a conservative bent in the simple fact that conservatism means not moving forward. We want things to be the way they were.
Right.
Progressivism, the word literally means moving forward. So
and
that's totally fair.
Spoiler, we find out that the blackout is caused because they want to force people, whoever this cabal is, to force people to go back to a way of life that isn't so enamored with technology, that isn't so technology-driven and based, so that they can kind of go back to these kind of original principles.
Back about 200 years.
Yes,
because we want pre-electricity,
sort of founders' time of America.
And we do get a lot of this New Hampshire, live free or die, and we do get a lot of this
Patrick
stuff.
Henry has taught us some great things.
Right. So
God, this show, it's like, it was so dumb.
It
got so
real
dumb. And I think that the trial was sort of the demarcation point where I went, none of this makes sense.
Right.
They were constantly arguing things and giving authority to people for no good reason. That she seemed to have 2 goons.
Okay, so let's
And
talk
it's like,
about that for a minute.
There's so many guns in America.
Right. Well, we're also in New Hampshire, where we are regularly reminded that Simon Itani may be the only guy there that's not familiar with guns, that isn't a hunter.
Right.
But the elderly, late middle-aged woman from just the performance she gives, who runs a general store and seems to have to even call them goons. Well, here are these 2 individuals, which we never really get a broader sense that there's much more to the militia, initially at least, than these 2 guys. Here are these 2 at the door of the Itanis the night of the blackout.
What do you guys want?
Neighborhood watch. Left you some flyers a couple months ago, but I guess you weren't interested.
Yeah, it's not really my thing, Randy.
Well, might be time to reconsider. Security systems are down and nobody knows how big this thing is.
My money's on the Ruskies. Hey, Kala, you teach Russian over at the college, right?
Yeah, Russian literature. You know, Anna Karenina, War and Peace.
Yeah, War and Peace. It's looking more like war to me.
President was about to make some kind of big announcement. Be careful out there. Looks like some lowlifes already broke into Madeline's store. Hard to know who to trust. Night, folks.
Night.
So we're almost at screwball comedy level here, which this seems to want to occasionally go into.
Yes.
It's almost like the writers and actors even agreed that these accents are so overdone, these characters are so two-dimensional, that they're playing it almost as comedy.
They have to. Because
so this
otherwise...
woman, well, she only has these 2 guys. We feel like 6 people who are dissatisfied with her in town could show up with guns. Her entire reign of terror would be over.
Yeah, she'd just be murdered straight away.
Right. We're also told before the end of this season that a wall is built around the town.
Right.
Do you know how much construction would be
So much
necessary
work.
to build a wall around the 10,000 population town of Berlin, New Hampshire?
I think that the reason why they try to make that, they talk about how, the National Guard isn't showing up. There's going to be no federal response.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the idea is it's supposed to be that there's some sort of larger calamity happening and everyone is just on their own. And the only ones who are actually in charge or doing any kind of real organizing are this lady and her group of secret
But I think we all agree
organizations.
that a lady who runs a coffee shop and 2 goons cannot take over a town of 2,000. And we are never, as Doug said, given sufficient justification as to why she's been able to do this.
No.
And so for me, at least as a listener, and this is one, reason 143, that as I was listening, I was getting more frustrated.
The show is maddening.
It was maddening for me. That was the difference, is from the first episode. I mean, you guys are saying the trial, when he runs into the gas station attendant who gives one of the most inconceivably strange performances in the history of narrative podcasts, this is what it's... Keep in mind, folks, this is 1.5 days in the blackout. I mean, all 3 of us here lived through 3.5 days, no electricity after the 1994 earthquake. This is 1.5 days in. This is the interaction he has. I was utterly confused. Here it is.
Check your tires.
No, thank you.
So, what's your destination, friend?
I'm going to the border.
Sure is a beautiful drive this time of year. Man, oh man. Hope you got enough gas to get home, though.
I'm sure I'll find some in Quebec.
Oh, you can't go to Canada.
What?
No. Bad idea.
Why?
Too many people on the road. They pass through here, and then I see them coming right back. Through and then back.
Well, why would they come back?
Check your oil gauge if you want. Not that I got any oil.
No. Just please answer me.
I'm feeling sad now. So, I'm gonna go inside. You take care of yourself, friend.
I'm not sure what this actor was doing.
I thought
the writer ended it with him going, I'm sad now. I'm going inside, mister. I'm like, where is this guy from? Why did he just say to another human being, I'm sad now. I'm going inside? Again, if this had been 3 months, he's seen his family killed by marauders.
Desperate.
Right. It's several hours in at this point.
Yeah, so I was actually, that scene really confused me where I was like, wait, was there a time jump? Because so many people have tried to get up to Canada and they're littering the road and you can't get through because they're all out of gas and the border's closed. And I'm thinking, isn't this a day? I was kind of racking my brain like, okay, maybe they did a time jump. And, but he's like, no, I'm looking for my son. I'm thinking, well, if that was a day ago, who are all these people who knew to get the hell out of the United States?
Right.
And,
Look,
hightail
an
it to
hour
Canada?
later, he meets one of those people as he's stuck in a traffic jam before giving up and going home because Berlin is a short drive from the Canadian border. And the guy tells him, I want to be clear, on day 2 of the national blackout, you can't go south. It's all floods and cholera.
Right.
Cholera in the second day of the blackout has already occurred.
The incubation period on cholera has to be longer than 2 days.
No, it's just like 12 minutes.
Is it 12 minutes? Yeah. It's like a zombie movie where if you get bit and you die, you instantly come back as a zombie.
He's also told that all of Manhattan is in flames because a gas main blew.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, a national blackout would absolutely be a calamity catastrophe, but we've talked about this idea before. In a narrative, you have to earn certain things.
Yes.
This earns nothing. We have a kind of the Crucible-esque, or a Scarlet Letter-esque trial scene that we've now referenced a few times. It comes at 4 or 5 episodes in. They don't earn any of it. None of us listening believe Madeline would be in charge of this town. It's a 4-minute trial. You're right. I'm sitting there going, well, the first thing you should be saying is, this person leveled a gun at us regularly, threatened us with violence constantly in the small amount of time we were in his cabin, and led this individual over here to literally execute a U.S. serviceman who was injured and down, a pilot who we found. It's insane. Also, I'm wondering, where are the roughly 9,996 other people in the town?
I was just saying,
until she says death by hanging, and you hear the entire town scream like, where were the oh my God, this made me so angry, guys.
This is a condemnation of New Hampshire. This writer has
Wouldn't
an axe
you be
to
enraged
grind.
if you were from New Hampshire?
You'd have to be. Because this is just him going, New Hampshire's full of idiots. It's full of people that can't seem to ever get anything together. They freak out at the drop of a hat. It's like, and the other thing is like, what would be the purpose of going to Canada? Do they still have power? They don't really ever address it. I don't know the answer to that. If going to Canada is a success because they still have power, is this just an American problem?
Yeah, but
then?
you know how, to be fair, about a day into the full blackout here after the earthquake, we all abandoned our lives, homes, jobs, and tried to get to Canada.
I murdered everyone, John.
Yeah, I know.
I murdered everyone I saw.
You did that after I kept going.
I was 12 years old.
You were literally murdering people by electric light.
What I did is that I would turn on all their gas mains and wait for them to light a candle.
Sure.
Because gas was still flowing, John, and I knew that they'd blow up, and then I'd take their sweetmeats.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'd eat them. Cannibalism, guys. I was right into it.
So the sweet bread.
Yeah.
It too is cannibalism.
The thing that made me the most mad, I think, was the idea that all of the sudden, this man that he's worked for 19 years as a radio DJ, he finds out is an extreme prepper.
I was going to say is a hardcore prepper.
Years of food, a natural gas generator.
About which they say, so it never needs gas.
I don't know how that works. I don't know what they meant.
Brandon, I know you're no engineer. Do you know what kind of gas a natural gas generator needs?
A propane.
Ooh, natural gas.
Natural gas, yeah. Which is not an infinite resource if it's not being pumped by some sort of electrical system.
Exactly right. So even if they have...
Unless he's pumping his own natural gas, John.
Right. Maybe he is on a massive pocket of natural gas. He's been fracking.
Oh, maybe. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's a fracking tale.
Yeah.
But the other thing is that like,
this story was ultimately at its core a condemnation of fracking or a ringing endorsement of it because it'll run your natural gas generator forever.
But the other thing is that...
You know a great way to not let other people know? Because he says, if people knew he had this...
That's the point I was about to make before you cut me off, is the idea that if I'm at home and the only place that has any kind of power is the local radio station, I'm going to that radio station because it proves that they have power.
Well, that was my point.
And shit to have.
He never stops broadcasting.
Never.
And people ask about everything. They're like, we had coffee. Oh, they must be doing well. Do you have sugar for your coffee? But they never go, hey, there's a massive antenna that's sending this like 300 miles in every direction.
Thousands of watts of power being used to send a radio signal. I wonder how that's occurring.
There's just a frustrating time dilation here. Again, they don't earn anything.
And it's like, And there was a TV show that John, you and I absolutely hated that was about the world losing
revolution.
The world losing all electricity. Sure. And the thing that they never addressed was